Hi everyone, and welcome to the 2020 DORA Awards. We were told to make our acceptance speeches virtual. So for this remarkable virtual online DORAs for the first time, here's my response. It's kind of weird writing something like this or putting something together not knowing whether you won or not. So I figured this is going to be a dual purpose because I think a lot of things in this video are things that I need to say anyways, whether or not we won. So if we won, fantastic. If we didn't win, congratulations to the incredible nominees in the category for Outstanding New Opera. But in the event that we did win, hooray, yay! We were told basically that one of the upsides of making these acceptance speeches virtual meant that there was no time limit. But I just need to give kind of one word of advice to everybody. Never tell a writer there's no time limit. Anyways, here we go. I guess this means we won the Outstanding New Opera Award, and that's something that I share with Yvette Nolan, who I wish so much could be here right now. I couldn't be more happy to share this award with our librettist, Yvette Nolan. Really, trying to bring the story of Shanawdithit and the Beothuk nation to the operatic stage is something that has been living with me since I composed a short scene on the story for my master's thesis about 25 years ago. And even before that, growing up in central Newfoundland surrounded by her story. I knew that it was a story that had to be brought to light, but 25 years ago, I, like so many of us, thought that if your intentions were good, stories were there for the taking. And that was wrong. And so the Shanawdithit project sat in the back of my mind for all those years, but refused to go away. Decades later, I finally brought it up with someone with a knack for making things like this happen the right way. Michael Morey at Tapestry Opera saw the importance of Shanawdithit, but knew I needed to find an Indigenous collaborator. I thought back to my own experience and remembered meeting Yvette Nolan and her partner Philip at some wild summer theater experience many years ago in New Brunswick, and I reached out. The connection over the phone was immediate, and what resulted was one of the most profoundly meaningful and transformational writing experiences of my career. For that, Yvette, I am eternally grateful. Huge thanks have to go out to Michael and Jamie at Tapestry Opera, and also Cheryl Hickman and Opera on the Avalon, who co-commissioned the opera and were responsible for bringing the story back to its home in St. John's, Newfoundland. Also to introducing us to Eastern Owl Drum Group, though they are so much more than that, who were such a vital part of the development process. So many thanks to my mom and dad who supported this crazy career even though the insecurity scared them. Sometimes I wish it had scared me a little more as well. And my incredible wife Julia and my daughters Blythe and Maeve, who show such great patience as I drift around the house with my brain in another world for months at a time. I also want to thank my new family at the Dan School of Drama and Music at Queen's University for letting me duck back to Toronto so many times to work on this project. Your support means so much. To all the team that worked on Shanawdithit, I owe you such a debt of gratitude. This project, way more than any other that I've worked on, has been such a collective effort. Composers are used to being listened to. But the music of this opera was so informed by your stories, experiences, and talents that I can't imagine it having happened any other way. Marion Newman, you are an inspiration and brought Shanawdithit back to life before our very eyes. Clarence Fraser, you brought such warmth and eagerness to Cormac, and the ensemble of Rebecca Cuddy, Deantha Edmonds, Asitha Tenekun, and Evan Corbett, with the incomparable dancer, Aria Evans, so brought this production to another level. A number of you have been nominated for awards here tonight, and you really deserve it. There are so many other people to thank, and you know what? No time limits. So again, here we go. Heartfelt thanks to our music director, Rosemary Thompson, our set designer, Cami Koo, in conjunction with many artists that I'll talk about a little bit later, lighting designer, Michelle Ramsey, costume designer, Kinu Archantelis, projection designer Cam Davis, production manager Carissa Wilcox, stage manager Kristen McCullum, assistant stage manager Leslie Bradley. And honestly, when I read these names out, these are some of the best friends that I've ever developed working on my own artistic journey. So again, not only was the project so incredibly artistically satisfying, I got to hang out with some incredible people. I need to take a moment here, though, to highlight the contributions of the Indigenous artists that worked on this show, given the whole idea behind the project. It could not happen without you. It should not happen without you. And for that, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Marion, Rebecca, Deantha, Evan, and Arya, you know I love you. Michelle Olson, our choreography was simply transcendent. Yvette helped put together an A-team of visual artists from across the country, including Jerry Evans, Jordan Bennett, Megan Mousseau, and Lori Blondeau. And I'm putting their names up here on the screen because you should Google them, and you should support them, and you should let them change your lives. I also want to point out what I'm wearing. Isn't that a big part of these shows? We didn't get a red carpet this time around, but here we go. The graphic tee is by Patrick Hunter, who did all the poster artwork for our show. And Rebecca Cuddy, who of course was in the ensemble, but is also a great artist herself, created this beautiful Métis beadwork. She has a company called Wapamashu Fine Arts, and this is an obsete wing, and obsete is the Beothic word for little bird, and it was something that figured in the show, and I treasure this. There's one more thing I need to say before I go. We are in a time of crazy uncertainty, and not just in the arts, but also as we realize that years and years of talking about making the arts and society as a whole more reflective of our diverse reality hasn't really happened. It's a huge subject, so just let me talk about opera. I imagine opera is the dark horse of the DORA community, and there are a lot of you from the theater and dance worlds that would probably never even consider going to an opera. It's an art form which has, by and large, perhaps more than any other, clung to the old ways of doing things. The art form, sadly, has a lot of well-earned baggage that is in danger of anchoring us to a past which is becoming increasingly irrelevant. It's not to say that traditional opera should be ignored, but it needs to be placed within the context of the world we live in now. There are great companies championing this work, and you only need to look as far as the DORA nominations list in the opera division. I toast the important work that you're all doing because it's such an incredible group of people. The voices of Black, Indigenous, and people of color need an equal place in the operatic art form, an art form that must define itself not just by the past, but by its present and its future. I should mention as well, in the midst of COVID-19 and this craziness, we need to think more about our artists as well, our performing artists. When you live in a career where the missing one gig can mean the life or death or the end of your career in a sense, we need to take this opportunity. We've talked so much about the silver linings, hopefully associated with COVID, because there's so many negative sides. But if nothing else, it's an opportunity for us to reflect on what we've done right, what we've done wrong, and for goodness sake, when we come out of this, to find a better way to make artists feel more respected and more secure and safer so that they can, again, reflect the incredible diversity and incredible wonder of our lives. I warned you about giving writers too much time, and I hear the music playing, so I guess that's all for me. Thank you to the Toronto Alliance for the Performing Arts and the DORA Awards Committee and all the judges. We all find a way to carry on in this tough career, but your acknowledgement means more than you can imagine. Here's where I would hug Yvette. So Yvette, big virtual hug. Miigwech, Marcy, thank you. Stay safe and have a wonderful summer.